Hello everyone, and welcome to Dream Team. I'm Alice Langlois.
And I'm Trent Lunkarski.
It's 2024, and we're on Dream Team Season 2.
Heck yeah.
Very cool. I'm excited.
First episode of the new year.
And to ring in the new year, we just passed, 400 subscribers on our YouTube?
Yeah.
Super
we just
cool.
Passed, 400 there, and then just about 100 on the Instagram.
That's awesome. A good way to start the year.
We passed it on Instagram too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. 102.
Awesome.
Woo.
Climbing that ladder.
Yeah. So we were both sick.
Yeah, you might have noticed it took this episode a little longer to come out than usual, because we got ill.
Yeah.
We both went home.
For the holidays.
Probably got those hometown germs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some various colds and sniffles and coughs, but we're both on the mend or better.
Yeah.
But
I'm 110%.
I think I'm at like 90.
Heck yeah.
I got it a little worse. I had to go on some antibiotics, but they are doing their job. So that's cool.
Glad you're better.
Yeah, I'm glad you're better too. I heard though that you might have had a fever dream, or at least you had some pretty strange ones while you were home.
Yes, I did.
'Cause I did too. I definitely feel like I had a fever dream, so sort of a thematic episode.
Yeah.
But I didn't check my temperature, so I guess we'll never know.
It's a fever dream if you think it was, I think.
I really felt like I had a fever that night, but I don't know. And it was a really wacky dream. The formula is there.
Perfect.
I want to hear about your weird dreams, though.
Should I start?
Yeah, please.
Cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna read all of the ones I had, but I got home from traveling, and then for like 4 or 5 days in a row, I had dreams like every night, and it was pretty much only when I was sick that I was having those dreams.
Huh.
So I'll do the first one I had. So I think I had it on the morning after Christmas, or so Christmas night.
Mm-hmm.
December 26th. December 26th.
December 26th.
No, I misspoke.
No, it makes sense because you were sick.
So the first one I had, that one I had was that I was out in a car with some friends, or we were like walking around, and we were watching like a police officer pull someone over. We were just in like a city. I don't know specifically where, and I also don't know what friends I was with, but like so we're like watching like a police encounter or whatever, and the guy starts like fighting the cop for like no reason. And then for whatever reason in the dream, like I tried to like jump on the guy, like body slam the guy, but
Whoa.
like the cop moved on top of him at that moment, so I accidentally like body slammed this cop.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then as the cop was walking away with the suspect, he told me that I would be under arrest for assaulting him, even though I was trying to help. And then it gets a little weird, and then I said, but he either forgot to arrest me or told me I was free to leave, and I would get a court summons in the mail. So I don't really remember what happened, but it was just sort of like I left that situation, and then it sort of just jump cutted a few days later. And I was just like hanging out at a friend's apartment, and I was like scared that I was like gonna get arrested.
Oh.
And then also like in like the dream, like in the dream logic, I didn't remember what the cop said. So like that's why I wrote that earlier. It was just sort of like I was there, and then he's like, "You're gonna get arrested," blah blah blah, and then I was just like in the next part of it, and I was like, I couldn't remember what happened.
Oh, that's stressful.
Like at the end of it, yeah. So I was like thinking, oh, the cops are gonna knock on the door at any second. And I was sort of in like an anxiety like loop of like being like, well I did do something bad, even though it was on accident, so I do deserve to get arrested. And then my brain would be like, wait, no, I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm sure if I got a lawyer, I'd be fine, and it'll all work out. And then I just kind of woke up from that. But it was definitely like I feel like it was a fever dream because it was just so like looping over and over. Like that last part was like the majority of it. They're just like, well, I didn't do anything wrong though. It's like, well, I did jump on the cop, but it was on accident. But if I had a lawyer, then I'd be fine. And then it just like kept looping like probably 4 or 5 different times.
It definitely sounds feverish. I feel like to me, like when I've had dreams when I'm sick, there's this like, even if the dream is like, whether or not it's good or bad, there's like this almost like your brain is like thinking compulsively over and over again.
Yeah.
Like you can't stop it. It just keeps going. And it's like almost painful, or it's just like, It's like, it kind of feels like Tetris Effect-y, but like with emotions and not like imagery.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it exactly. Because that's what it was. It was just like it just kept looping that part of it. Because
like we were just talking about this before we started recording, but I was noting that the last time I had a memorable fever dream was actually on this podcast, and it was a very positive fever dream, which was strange, where like I was very sick, but everybody in the dream was telling me it was going to be okay, that I was doing a good job, but it still had that level of compulsive intensity. Like it was just like all these people over and over again telling me this thing, and even though it was a good dream, it was very intense and overwhelming. So I don't know, maybe there's just some like that's just a characteristic of it.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that's a crazy really dream. Really interesting. Do you have
We'll be okay.
The only good fever dream?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if you had another one.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I had a couple like back to back, like over a span of a couple days. I'll just read a shorter one. I'll save the other ones for later.
Sounds good.
This one was, I guess 2 days after that other one. Just a very short one. It was just, I don't know if I was on it or if I was watching it on TV, but it was a competitive hide and seek show. So it just started with like a scene of a bunch of people on a really like long, like comically big couch, like how all those shows are. And they're just like sitting around talking. And then it was just like someone got summoned to like go hide, and then someone else got summoned to go seek, and that was it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, were you watching it or were you in it?
I don't remember.
Either one is wild to me.
It was kind of both. Like, I feel like at one point I was like sitting on the couch, like waiting to get called, but I didn't get called. But then I also feel like I was watching it from far away. So like, it was kind of both.
So bizarre. And it was only one hider at a time?
Yeah.
That's really funny to me for some reason.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the logistics of that show, but maybe it was like a special elimination round or something.
Yeah. New game show idea.
Competitive hide and seek.
I feel like I'll be pretty good at it. Maybe not seeking, but I'll be good at hiding.
Yeah.
That's funny. Thank you for sharing those.
Yeah, of course. And do you have some sick dreams too?
Yeah, I've got one that I definitely felt like I had a fever that night, and it was the night before I was supposed to leave to go back to Portland from visiting my family.
Okay.
And don't worry, I made sure it wasn't COVID. I tested like a bajillion times before I went to the airport, because I wouldn't have gone if I was going to be like spreading a really serious illness, but it was not COVID. But yeah, I was starting to get a little bit of a cold right before I was supposed to fly back to Portland, and the night before going to the airport, so I was already supposed to get up pretty early because my flight was at like 7. So I already wasn't going to be getting that great of sleep anyway. But it was wild. It started off as like a pretty like normal-ish stress dream, and then just went completely off the rails. Like it started off where in the dream I was like stressed out about packing my stuff to go back to Portland. Like I was dreaming about that night, basically, like dreaming about all the stuff I had to do to get ready to go back, and having it be also like that early in the morning, and like, you know, my family was up to like help me to like see me off or whatever. but for some reason I like couldn't consolidate my belongings in like a way that made sense. Like I couldn't fit everything in my suitcase for some reason, and like no matter what I tried, it just wouldn't work. So I ended up having like, you know, my suitcase and then this like random handful of stuff that like you would think would be able to squeeze in there. It was like a water bottle and a folder and like some random notebooks and pencils. And so I was just like carrying those around, like, where am I supposed to put these? It was a really like kind of dumb situation. And I remember another thing that just absolutely made no sense. I looked at the clock and the clock read 7, which was when my flight was supposed to be. And for some reason, when I looked at it, I interpreted it as 17, which is in military time, 5 p.m.
Oh.
And then another thing is my brain interpreted it as 5 a.m. So this is wrong in like 3 ways. And 5, even though like if I had immediately thought, oh, 7 a.m., that's not good. That's when my flight is supposed to leave. I thought, oh no, it's 5 a.m. is when I'm supposed to be at the airport, but I'm still at home. So it was stressful for the correct reason, but like not. It's like getting the right answer to a math problem, but you did the process wrong.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing that my brain did with numbers. And so eventually my family was just like outside waiting for me. And in reality, just like usually just one of my parents would drive me to the airport or something, but my whole family was coming. And I kept like misplacing that handful of objects. I kept putting them down and then like they weren't there and I'd have to go find them again. And I kept thinking to myself, and this is like a common factor in a lot of my stress dreams, is that like someone's going to be mad at me. I thought my family was going to be mad at me, but they weren't. So that was kind of an interesting, like they were just chilling. So that was kind of cool. A little break from that trope that my brain does. And then it got crazy. We're not at my house anymore. We were in this like very damp, muddy field on like a farmstead. It kind of looked like very early spring when like the grass is still yellow and kind of plastered to the ground. And all over there were like these little like barns and sheds and like workbenches where random people were just like working on kind of industrial looking projects. And this random guy, I was like I was like separated from my family and I kept trying to find them. And I had my little bundle of, you know, water bottle, folder, notebook, pencil. And this guy kept moving them. Like I would put them down for a second and then like a guy would just like take it and put it down somewhere else and I wouldn't see where it was. So I had to kept finding these things. And I kept like just missing him by like, you know, a minute or whatever and losing track of him and losing track of my stuff. And eventually I caught up with him and grabbed my stuff. And while I was finally like able to start looking for my family, I stepped into one of the little like workshop studio barn situations. And there were 2 women sitting at a work table in front of a lathe. You know, like the spins a lot. You can use it to like carve things down. Yeah. They were using it to grind glass into this like kind of muddy, gritty substance that like covered the spinning part of the lathe. And then like for just a very brief moment, I like all of the information about what was going on in this workshop was just like beamed into my brain. Like I knew everything about the workshop and what was going on. And like I started talking to someone standing next to me who had stopped into the workshop and didn't know what was going on. Almost like I was like a tour guide. Like I was just explaining like how like glass etching works and stuff for just like a minute. And then I just like snapped out of it and I was like, oh right, I need to go find my family. What am I doing here? We need to go to the airport. Just
wait,
like,
I'm in the wrong episode.
Yeah, no, it was like it was like my show. Yeah, it was so weird. So I like stepped out of the workshop. I finally ran into my mom and I told her about the guy who kept moving my stuff. I was like complaining about him. And she kind of like thought I was trying to be funny. Like she like I don't know, I maybe didn't express how frustrated and upset I was by like a random guy like actively messing with me. So when she was sort of like laughing it off, I was like, no, I think he was a bad person. And she told me that it must have had to do with how he was raised. And so I told her that I thought his parents must have also been bad people. Like, I very much remember this conversation. I was like, then I think his parents are bad people too. Because that guy sucked. And so for some reason, because I had found my mom, I was like, okay, I know where my mom is and I don't need to like stay with her. I just need to find the rest of my family and like find out where they are, I guess. And I ran into this, like, it was sort of like an open air restaurant. Like the whole front of it was open and you could just go inside to like a little dining area, and it was 2 stories. So there was like an upper floor where like it seemed like the kitchens were, and the lower floor that was just like where you could go sit and eat. And there were other ones around it too. It was almost like a food cart pod or like open air market kind of thing. And on the 2nd story deck, there was this really, I remember it super vividly. It had like nothing to do with the plot of the dream, but like, I think because it was like one of the last things I saw before I woke up, I just remember it very clearly. It was like a rotating machine, also I guess like a lathe, but it was more like a rotisserie. And there were like kitchen workers sort of like in the background cooking stuff behind it. And also there was one person who was operating the machine. And instead of like a thin metal spit in the middle that rotated, it was like a really thick pipe that was hollow and had like a split down the middle where you could see that it was hollow. And it spun really slowly. And on the left side of the machine, from where I was looking at it, attached to the pipe, there was this hollow like fuel canister looking thing. And every couple minutes a kitchen worker would come and remove the canister and put on a respirator and fill it with some kind of like fuel or gas or something, and then they would attach it back to the rotating pipe and then coat the pipe with some kind of batter, like pancake batter or like crepe batter or something. And then as the pipe continued to rotate, the batter would heat up super fast, and it would it like crisped up into like the shape of like a cartoony face, like a guy's face. It almost looked like old cartoon, like Popeye era type of cartoony face. And then it as soon as it got super crispy, it would just like pop off the pipe and fall down. And if some, like, you could just like, if you caught it, then it was yours and you could like eat it. And I ate one. It was like, it was crunchy like a potato chip. And it tasted kind of spicy. Like there was maybe like chili powder, pepper. It wasn't like super spicy, but it almost like about the spice level of like a decently good barbecue chip. But it wasn't sweet like one, and it had kind of a toasty, charred flavor as well. And that was like one of the last things I remember before waking up. I never found the rest of my family. I never made it to the airport. The whole part of the dream being like super stressful and crazy just sort of like melted away into like me exploring this weird area that I was in. And when I woke up, I was just like, what? And like also at that point my fever broke, so it was really, really weird.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was just like a sampler of strange things.
Yeah.
And like my brain couldn't keep track of my goals.
And you didn't even make your flight.
No, I didn't make my flight, but I got to eat a cool potato chip that looked like a guy.
And you got knowledge beamed into your head.
Yes, that also is really weird.
That's awesome.
It was a very strange dream.
Very cool.
Yeah, the stressful part's not so fun, but I always enjoy eating a food that doesn't exist. And like seeing cool inventions in machines.
Crispy guy face,
chip, cracker, pancake.
We got to make a Dream Team cookbook.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I do have a recipe for that, like whipped cream pretzel
Yeah.
concoction that I did make and did try and was not that great. I think if I made it with ice cream instead of just purely whipped cream, like if I modified it a little bit,
Like
it would have been more palatable. Yeah, or something like that. But it was so hard to eat because like whipped cream has no structure. So when I tried to bite into it, the whole thing just like bleh everywhere. Dream Team cookbook. If we dream of enough foods, then maybe.
Yeah, very cool. I want to eat a guy face chip.
If I figure out how to make it, then I'll make one for you. I guess we could also put in Welsh rarebit for people who want to have a scary cheese dream.
I still want to try it.
It would be one of our things for 2024. We could make an episode where the night before we've both eaten Welsh rarebit and see what happens.
I think we should.
That sounds good. Well, to keep things thematic, I have a relevant dream fact for you.
I also have the same dream fact.
I think we probably have come to the same conclusion, but...
Yes. Do you want to introduce the dream fact, or do you want me to?
Sure. I was just trying to find out what's up with fever dreams, why they happen, if there is science behind it, like what's the deal? And somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems like it's another one of those like, technically we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a hallmark of dreams, where it's just like, researching dreams is probably not the most important thing that scientists need to be doing, so I don't think there's like a ton of legitimate conclusive literature out there about like what happens when you dream and why.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was some stuff. I'm curious if you found the same information as me.
Yeah. I think so. Just reading over the notes you have, I had pretty much the same ones. So one of the main reasons for fever dreams is pretty much because your brain is overheated, and this is kind of
cooking your brain.
Yeah, because your body is supposed to be at, what is it, 98.7 or something?
I think so.
That's like the average. So like when your body and your brain is in your body, so when that gets higher, when you have a fever and your body temperature gets higher than it should, your brain is kind of like, what is happening?
Don't work so good.
Yeah. So that's why you have headaches and you feel weird when you have a fever, and when you have dreams, it kind of messes with your REM cycles. So, and just like in general, you might not sleep as well because you have a fever, so you're going to keep waking up, and you know, fevers usually go along with other sicknesses, so other things will keep you waking up, so you're dipping in and out of REM all the time, so you're seeing dreams you normally wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think it's like, I definitely have had experiences where being sick, or like part of what is like stressful about a fever dream is that sort of like going in and out, and it's like you're not like fully waking up, but you're not fully sleeping, and that just, it feels bad.
Yeah. And you're not like rested.
Yeah. I also read that fever dreams are more likely to be negative, like not cool and fun.
Yeah.
And that it's also like you're more likely to dream about the symptoms and illnesses that you're experiencing. So I read an article on sleepfoundation.org, and I also read an article on Time magazine, and both of them cited studies where people had dreams where like either literally or metaphorically they were kind of dreaming about the things that were happening to them. So they were like, you know, dreaming about things like melting, or, you know, or like being evocative of like being too hot. And I've also definitely had dreams where like if my body is experiencing pain in real life, then I'm to some extent experiencing it in the dream. The thing that's causing it in the dream might not be like the same thing, but I think
you talked about one of them on here.
I might have. And I also recall we got a dream submission where someone was saying that like they were dreaming about cats, and the cats were like sticking their claws into their foot or something, and when they woke up there was like a sewing needle in their foot.
Yeah.
I could be remembering it wrong.
No, I was remembering the same one. I thought that was you that said that, but I
No,
guess
no, that wasn't me.
Submission. Yeah.
I think that was a submission. But I think with fever dreams, it's more common to have that because like your body is like actively feeling bad.
Yeah. You're probably thinking about it a lot too. You're like, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm
sick.
Like when you're awake. So makes sense. It bleeds over to the dream world.
Yep. That's pretty much all I found.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty simple, nothing mysterious or overly complicated with that dream fact. No. You get too hot, brains start cooking, makes bad dreams.
Yeah, that's pretty much same answers I got.
You know, I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but I forgot. And I guess now we know the answer to this question, but I was gonna circle back to I think the first dream fact that we ever did. Do you remember what it was? Or at least what it was about?
No.
That's okay.
Was it just about REM?
No.
What was it?
It was Hatsuyume, the first dream of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, I was trying to be mindful of it this year. I don't think I remember my first dream of this year.
Oh.
But
I had a funny one.
We'll have to hear about it soon. I wanted to just bring it up just because we're doing our first episode of the year, and if anybody needs a refresher, there are some things that are a sign of good luck if you dreamed about them on your first on either the night of January 1st or the first dream of the new year. I don't know if you remember what any of those things were.
Oh, yeah. There's 3 things, right? Mm-hmm. I remember. I just happened to see the like art for the first episode. I know one of them was an eggplant.
Yeah.
And then it was some kind of bird, right? Like a hawk or something. Hawk. And then was it a mountain also?
A specific mountain.
Oh, Mount Fuji.
Right. I think we agreed that if you lived in a different country, if you just dreamed about a really tall mountain in your country, then that would probably be okay. And I think there were 3 bonus things: a fan, tobacco, and a blind acupressure.
Oh yeah.
So I guess
it's coming back to me.
If any of our listeners have dreamed about any of those 6 things as their first dream of the year, please tell us, because I would love to hear about it. I personally am pretty sure I didn't dream about any of those things.
I did not.
But maybe next year, like on December 31st, I'll just like stare at pictures of like eggplants and hawks and Mount Fuji just to see. I mean, I don't know. Does that count as cheating? Like, I feel like I don't know. Like, what if you like eat like eggplant parm for New Year's Eve or something, like, and then you dream about eggplant? I don't feel like that's not cheating. Or like, what if you like were like looking at like a field guide for birds,
hawks
in the Pacific Northwest, and you just happened to spend like 5 minutes on the page of hawks. You know, just for whatever's.
Yeah.
Or you went on a hike on a really tall mountain.
I don't know if that counts as cheating.
I feel like I don't know.
None of those 3 things, or none of those 6 things, were in my first dream. So.
I haven't dreamed about any of those things recently, regardless of whether or not I remember my first dream of the year. So, but like I said, I wanted to bring it up just in case any of our listeners might have had something that counts, because I would love to know about it. Mm-hmm. And speaking of our listeners, we have 2 lovely dream submissions to share with you this week.
Yes.
I was wondering if you would like to read the first one.
Sure. I can do that. Both
of them are from some very loyal listeners that we've heard from before. Yes. And I believe that the first dream is this person's first dream of the year.
Oh, perfect. So the first dream comes from Sep. And Sep writes, I am back with another dream. For context, we have a printer in our house, on the bookshelf in my brother's room, that we haven't used in years, and I had been told that it was out of order when I was little. However, the morning before I had this dream, my brother had told me that it was just out of ink, and that we don't know if it's actually out of order or not. In the dream, my mom, my aunt, and I were out shopping. They were looking for wall paint while I was looking for some ink cartridges. I don't think we bought anything, and soon we went home. At home, I was trying to search inside and around the printer for ink cartridges. I found a lid on the printer that doesn't exist in real life. Opened it, and I found a secret compartment. Inside was a part of a plastic toy, 3 coins, and some other stuff I don't remember. I took the coins to look at the year they were made in, since that's something I like to do. Normally the year should be written as a 4-digit number, but in my dream it was just the last 2 digits. My country changed the look of our coins in 2004, so normally the number should be between 04 and 23. Well, maybe 24, but I had this dream on the night of January 1st, so that's highly unlikely. To my surprise, 2 of the 3 coins weren't in that range. I'm not sure, but I think the numbers were 11, 27, and 79. At first I thought, oh cool, my bro has some fake coins. When I turned around to put them back, there were some more coins on the bookshelf, and the compartment on the printer had disappeared. But a narrow black box on the bookshelf seemed to replace it. Inside it was the same plastic toy part and a lot of coins. I looked at all the coins, and most of them seemed to be fake, because of the year written on them. But there were so many that I started to doubt myself, and started to think, what if my brother is actually a time traveler? If he is, who knows what century these coins are from? Then I found some documents that seemed to be used for time traveling. Still unsure whether they're real or not, I started to file them. Then I heard someone knocking loudly on the door. At first I didn't pay too much attention to it and resumed filing the documents. But the person wasn't going away. So I went to look who it was. I looked through the peephole and I saw a guy wearing formal clothes and sunglasses. So he was definitely an agent. I was trying to decide whether I should open the door or not, when some other guy with a key came and started to open the door. I got scared and ran away. The guy with the key turned out to be my brother, but he definitely didn't look like my brother when I saw him through the peephole. He asked me what I was doing with those time-traveling documents, and that's when the dream ended. This was definitely one of the best dreams I've had recently. Happy New Year, and keep up the great work. Sep.
So cool.
Very good stuff. Great dream.
Time-traveling sibling.
Yeah.
kind of a little threatening there at the end. You found my secret time travel coin collection.
Yeah.
I also love formal clothes and sunglasses. Definitely means you're an agent.
No, definitely. Like
of course.
Men in Black or something.
Of course, yeah.
The time cops.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome.
Yeah. I like that with the coins. I would probably do the same thing.
To me that's a really interesting, like, vivid observation, because I feel like typically in dreams I have a hard time like reading words and numbers, like little detailed things like that are hard to focus on.
Yeah.
And the fact that you think you like almost even remember exactly what the numbers were, that's really interesting to me. That you noticed that the year was wrong, like that's crazy.
I'm like, I don't think I've ever read anything in a dream. Not that I remember, really.
I have very rarely. Like, there has been a very few times where I've, like, you know, read something in a book or in a notebook or drawn something or written something down. But usually what's more likely to happen is, like, I try to read something and it doesn't work. Like, I'm like, looking at a book or looking at my phone or, like, even something like a calculator, anything with numbers or letters on it. And it's stressful because I just can't. I don't know. Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
Thank you, Sep.
But none of the 6 things mentioned, so...
No, but I feel like maybe having your first dream of the year be about money that seems pretty good, right? Finding money.
Yeah. Time traveling. Well, about time travel. So you're probably going to time travel this year.
I don't know. I mean, I think what's interesting about Hatsuyume is that the things that you're dreaming about aren't necessarily indicative of like literally experiencing those things they're just like symbols of good luck. Like I think like if you dream about the hawk, it's not like you're gonna see a hawk. I think it's that the hawk is seen as like a very like clever and strong bird, and so it's just like a good thing to dream about. Or like Mount Fuji is like the highest mountain, like and that's like, you know, very I think and then I remember I read about the eggplant because I was like, why eggplant? And I think the Japanese word for eggplant is similar to the Japanese word or phrase for like a great achievement or something. I don't know, something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I feel like coins seems promising.
Yeah.
If you come into a bunch of money this year, Sep, maybe it's because you had this dream.
I think that's possible.
One can hope.
Yeah.
I have an update from Michael, our lucid dream tester.
Yeah.
Experimenter.
Michael's got another one?
Well, no, it's interesting. It starts with a little update and then a couple dreams that he's had.
Okay.
Michael writes, "Good day, Alice and Trent. It's Michael again. Today I'll be sharing my continued experiences with lucid dreaming. In my last update, I was able to have a lucid dream about flying that occurred after finding my hands in the dream. About a week later, I had my second lucid dream. As the dream started, I already felt somewhat aware. It was obvious that the way that I was perceiving things was not how I perceived them in the waking world. There was a general darkness, especially in my periphery, but people and objects seemed to glow vibrantly. I remembered after a moment to look at my hands in the dream. Continuing the practices outlined in Carlos Castaneda's written work, once the hands were found in the dream, I was instructed to look away from my hands and focus on some other aspect or item in the dream. Then, if the object of focus began to blur or change, I would look again at my hands, then back to an object, then back to the hands, and so on. I was able to perform this about 5 or 6 times within the dream before I became distracted and lost the sense of lucidity. I can't remember anything that occurred within the dream after this exercise. However, I do remember that my hands began to change each time I looked back at them. My fingers especially seemed to become transparent and to sway with a peculiar fluidity. They looked to be morphing together as if I were looking at them cross-eyed. Since this particular experience, I have been unable to find my hands again in my dream, but the dreams themselves have become extravagantly abstract. Never have I had stranger dreams in my life. If I could speculate, I'd say my ego is hell-bent on preventing me from continuing this practice. I will try to relay succinctly the aspects of my recent dreams, which I am able to put into words. There was one dream where several people and myself were riding imaginary go-karts inside a giant mansion, but we were actually hovering along the floor and moving our hands as if there was a steering wheel and stick shift to operate these invisible vehicles with. There were TVs set up all over the house that were playing something like the Discovery Channel, but the flora and fauna being presented was not of our own world. Something extraordinarily unearthly on one of the TVs distracted me, and I smashed into a wall, which woke me up. Another dream took place inside another large house, where I met several people who I've never seen before. One woman introduced me to a few people, but I could not see her face for some reason. Each person she introduced me to was more of a caricature of a human being, rather than how we normally see each other. One man particularly stood out, having a head the size of a watermelon, with gigantic eyes, a bulbous nose, and long, droopy jowls. I was instructed to then sit by the front door and keep watch, as if something was going to try and get into the house if we weren't vigilant. One last dream started in a long white hallway with several doors on each side, and each door I entered would have a different dream occurring. Somehow I was able to poke my head through each door and experience completely different dreams. After peeking through all the doors, I turned around to face a door that had been behind me the whole time. As soon as I opened it, I woke up.
Whoa.
This is about the extent of what I could honestly put into understandable words without being too verbose. I truly can't imagine how my dreaming will progress from here, but I will continue my attempts to reach lucidity in my dreams and report my findings as I am able. As always, thank you for reading and for producing an awesome podcast. Love, Michael, with a little heart emoji.
Oh, whoa, heart emoji.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Michael.
That was awesome.
Yeah, those are really cool. Very, just like, short little vignettes, but very vivid imagery.
The last one's crazy. I love that.
With the doors, yeah.
Looking into all different doors, and then the last one, you wake up. Whoa.
It feels like you, like, hacked the dream space or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part of your dream where everybody does that and goes through a door to have their actual dream, but you don't, like, you always forget that part or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, to me, even though those dreams that you were experiencing weren't necessarily lucid by, like, our definition, that last one almost feels lucid in terms of just it being very meta.
Yeah. Dream about dreaming.
Right. Well, I also think I kind of agree with Michael that like I feel like the amount of lucid dreams that I've had has correlated to me just having more vivid dreams in general somehow. And I don't know if that's like directly the cause, but I think that maybe there's something about having lucid dreams, or at least being interested in having lucid dreams, that just makes you pay attention to your dreams more. And maybe that just causes more vivid or bizarre things to happen. I don't know.
I could see that.
I think it's an interesting result. I'm sure, Michael, that you will have more lucid dreams in the future, even if you've kind of hit a plateau right now. But at least in the meantime, it seems like you figured out how to have wilder dreams in general.
Yeah.
I still need to try that hand thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to read that Carlos Castaneda or whatever. I want to try it. Because I mean, like, I've had lucid dreams, but I don't have them a lot. And, like, it would be cool to do it on purpose.
Yeah. Like, I think I've only had one or two, so it'd be cool to have another one.
2024 goals?
Yeah. I'll add it to the list.
All right. Eat Welsh rarebit.
Have a lucid dream.
Have a lucid dream. Yeah. New Year's resolutions on Dream Team be like.
Yes. More dreams.
Well, thanks everybody for sending us your submissions. If people want to send us their dreams, where should they send them?
They can send them to dreamteampodcastsubmissions@gmail.com.
And honestly, I feel like it's fine if people DM them on Instagram, like on the Dream Team Instagram. If
what
you're,
is that?
It's at Dream Team with Alice and Trent.
Yeah.
If it's easier for you to do it on social media, then write up an email. That's totally cool. I just want to make it easier for people to feel like they have different options. And yeah, please send us your dreams. If you had any weird ones over the holidays, if you were also traveling or visiting your family, or I don't know. I feel like it's always a weird time of year, so who knows what it does to our brains.
The more dreams, the better.
But yeah, we need submissions for sure. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah.
Exciting new year ahead of us. Thank you for helping us get over 400 subscribers and 100 followers on Instagram. I'm looking forward to meeting many more of you over this next year.
Yes, same. If you like the show, show it to your friends. Tell them about it.
Yeah, if you have any friends that have weird dreams, tell them to email us.
Yes, please.
We definitely want to hear about more people's experiences in the dream space.
Yeah. And I don't know what platform you're listening to this on, but if you want to check it out on a different one also, we're here on YouTube, and we're also here on Apple Podcasts, and we're also over here on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
We're hanging out in 3 different spots.
Yeah. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it would be really cool if you left us like a review or a rating.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think you can do that on there, and that would be awesome. I also think you can at least do a rating on Spotify. And on YouTube, it's great because you could leave us a comment, let us know what you think of the episode. I love reading the comments on our YouTube channel. They're always so awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And you can hit like and subscribe.
Yeah. What is it? Smash that like button?
Yes.
Maybe just
destroy that like button.
Maybe just like
the subscribe button.
Gently lay your head upon the like button as if it were a lovely pillow.
Yes.
And lay down on the subscribe button like the comfiest mattress.
Yes.
All right. Well, until next time, I hope that everybody gets wonderful sleep and has sweet dreams.
Yes. Have a great night, everyone. Sleep good.
Good night.
Good night.
We did it.
Woo,
First episode of the year.
Episode 20.
Well, episode 1, season 2.
Woo. Yeah.
Can't believe we got renewed for a second season.
The networks let us.
They're gonna love this one.
By the networks, I mean us.
I've got so many B plots in store.
Oh boy. We got 9 new characters. No. Okay. Yep, Alice just confirmed, even though she stopped recording, we got 9 new characters. We got 28 new hosts coming on. Dream Team is going to be crazy this year. Bye, everyone.